once again, this is the BCS Leicester chapter, Leicester branch, and we do have event that is lined up um, for month to month. So if you are on our distribution list, so you'll be getting emails from us. So for today, we have Herbert, Herbert, Herbert Ucheoha. Um, he's a business analyst, and so he'll be joining us tonight to kind of talk from his vast experience in the IT field. And he will be talking about AI, about quantum computing, about new technology in innovation that is taking over the world of today. So and I'll be hand over to him very soon, and he's going to engage us. So he's a kind of business analyst for over 6 years, and he's into consultancies as well. Works across many industries like the e-commerce, financial sector, telecoms, digital technology, and so on and so forth. I believe you'll be able to share a lot of things with us tonight. So having said that, I just want to say, if you're here tonight and you are not a member of this branch and you want to join, I'm going to put a link in the chat for us. So for us to get to our website and you can sign up so that you can be part of us and you can get email notification from us from time to time. Okay, so without talking too much, I'm going to hand over to the speaker of tonight. His name is Herbert Ucheoha. So over to you. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much, Kay. Hello, everyone. Like you said, my name is Herbert Ucheoha. This is a presentation about AI and quantum computing. And my presentation is more on a positive outlook for IT careers. As Kay earlier mentioned, I work as a business analyst now and also a product owner as well. And I've, throughout the course of my career, I've been interacting with computer systems and also being someone that has, interest in this. I was able to pursue a master's as well in AI and data analytics a couple of years back. So I will just give a run through. So today's presentation is more on us as IT professionals to look at what we have for the future lined up for us as a positive outlook. I know there are lots of worries about artificial intelligence and the impact it's going to have on jobs, but we'll just go through all of the things I have on the slide. I don't know if you can see my screen. Okay. Yeah?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. All right. So the first thing is, AI. A lot of people, interact with AI every day through their phones, through their devices, without even knowing that they're using AI. AI is basically grown from where it was the past couple of years. It's basically a system that enables human capabilities to automate tasks. For example, now we know that we have a lot of GPTs that have been developed where we use that for our daily interaction. It uses core technological frameworks that we all know of, and it goes to uses machine learning where it trains a model, and over time the model can then learn to do tasks faster, to analyze data, and enable us as individuals, as humans, to make decisions, whether it's be it in business, in healthcare, in your day-to-day life, or even just arranging your schedule. It's come a long way, and there are a couple of examples you could look at. For example, you have today we have chatbots. If you have a product that you're trying to use, let's say for example you have a phone line from O2 or maybe a cable network that you're using and you want to reach out to the customer service. They have chatbots now that you can interact with that enable you to have initial conversations, making you to get the right support. And it's being used across different fields. We have recommendation systems now. We also have automation vehicles as well, autonomous vehicles that can drive themselves like Tesla. And when it comes to GPT in my day-to-day life, I use Copilot a lot, which helps you to be able to do your job a lot more better, a lot more faster, and it has actually helped us in terms of the field of IT to quickly automate our workflows, to help development of IT systems and products, and test them faster than we used to a couple of years back. And AI is something that's applied currently in businesses. You have companies like Amazon that currently and consistently use predictive analytics to plan, to understand what customers' needs are and predict what areas and demands customers might have. There's this interesting thing that Amazon do where they kind of anticipate, it's called anticipatory analytics, where they kind of anticipate the time of the year and what products people in a particular region are most likely to buy, and they ship those products closer to their warehouses, and they always get it right. So these are the things, the good that AI has, and it cuts across not just day-to-day business, but also in terms of education as well, cybersecurity, interaction between humans as well and our day-to-day life. And it's helping us to even as professionals to, do work faster, to focus on the more innovative things that we need to do. Even as someone in academics, you're interacting with AI every day as well. And a core example is Copilot. Copilot is currently assisting software developers to write code faster, to be more productive. And so that's like a run through of what AI is, and it's here to stay. It's still at infancy, and it will get smarter. So that's like a run through of artificial intelligence. Sorry. System issue. And then quantum computing. It's a revolutionary technology that uses quantum mechanics to solve complex problems, and it's currently, unlocking new opportunities in computing. It's there for breakthrough in terms of drug development in the pharmaceutical industry. It's one of those style of computing that is going to deviate from the natural computers that we know because of the qubits, and it's not just about your regular computing. Before you could connect a couple of systems together. A couple of years back, when there was Hadoop and all of that, where you can categorize data and manage your data properly. But when it comes to quantum computing, it's changing the landscape of how we see computing, and it's going to cut across every sector. It's going to change the way we do machine learning. It's going to aid better medical research. It's going to improve supply chain optimization, and also help us how we, think about things like climate change and all of those things. So quantum computing, it's which I will get to in a couple of in the next slide. Just bear with me. Yeah, it's a bit different from the classical computing. So our classical computing has always been known for having discrete, values of zeros and ones, and it processes data logically and sequentially, and it's common. It can be used anywhere in offices, in schools, and all of that. But the quantum computing is specialized. It's used for massive problem solving at a large scale. It's different from the natural or classical computing we've known for a couple of years now that just focuses on zeros and ones and is very logical. Because of the qubits, it can process at higher speeds, provide faster results. It can process problems in multiple dimensions at the same time and give you multiple solutions at the same time. Now, this computing is already being used by the likes of IBM, Google, and major technological companies out there. Having this sheer computing power that is going to come through and it's coming through for the next couple of years with the growth and advancement of AI, we are going to get to a point where we are going to be able to process large sets of data, really massive large sets of data over time. And like I said earlier, it can change the way we think about machine learning. And we're going to get to a point where the intersection of quantum computing and AI is going to develop a lot more opportunities. That's why I mentioned earlier in the presentation that it's more about a positive outlook, what we are expecting, or things that we're expecting to see. And before I go further, I wanted to touch on what we've seen over the years. A couple of people that have been in IT for decades, we can go through the different changes that has happened over time. In the 1960s, there was mainframe computers. I wasn't born then, so I didn't know what it was like. But you know, when you study computer science, you have to study the history of computers. During the mainframe era, there were multiple impacts on IT careers because a lot of people had to come and learn how to use the mainframe system. I was told then, and even when I go through history and speak to colleagues that were able to interact with mainframes, then they had to use punching cards and those tools. So those were skills that had to be learned. Programming knowledge like COBOL had to be used to be able to interact with mainframe computers and provide value for businesses at that time. But then from the 1970s to 80s was the introduction of personal computers. And then that brought a new set of opportunities as well, brought a new set of skill set that needed to be learned. And as well, IT professionals had to adapt, had to start, building the skills, the skill sets to be able to use this technology to the full potential. You had the introduction of Microsoft, the personal laptop, and the MS DOS. People had to learn command line. They had to learn different things that they needed to be able to provide value for their organization. And in the 1990s came the introduction the of of the internet, of web plus server. We started having situations where companies were able to have emails and communicate, set up their emails, able to communicate via emails, having to set up their own on-premises servers where they were able to store data, process data, being able to have a network within their organization to be able to communicate via technology. And it started in the 1990s. But it shows that over time, each time we go into a new era of IT, there's always opportunities and there's always time for even people in their current role to learn more, to grow more, and to improve their skill set. There's a couple of things on the screen that you can relate to if you worked around that period that probably wouldn't exist now or maybe exist in its own form. And if you look at the year 2000s, we started having the introduction of the mobile phones, we started having e-commerce, and we started having things like social media. And it's still coming in from mid 2000s, but then organizations had to learn, for example, businesses like as at then had to go from just having regular websites to start thinking about mobile apps because phones were evolving, the technology was evolving. It was a domino effect across technology, both from an on-prem system where they were thinking about, oh, we could have a server and the server has this width of storage and we could use it for all of our processes there was organizations testing opportunities to move to virtual clouds. They're thinking about, okay, now I can access data from the cloud, not just from the storage capacity that I have on premises. And these are things that, created opportunities. People started trying to become skilled in that skill set to be able to help organizations transition, to help organizations, start using newer technologies like Hadoop and MapReduce, and also the other things about when you think about it from a product perspective, from an e-commerce perspective, because businesses have to cater for their different customer types. The younger generation as at then everyone wanted to have a phone, an iPad, an iPod, whatever they wanted to be on Gmail, wanted to have an app. So he encouraged organizations to create more opportunities in terms of career routes, in terms of roles. I can remember then we started having specific developer opportunities just to build applications. And then it evolved down to the 2010s, where there's now a combination of, of internet for everything. You could have smartwatches, you could have your Alexas at home, you could have everything, your device, your phone, all of that connected to your broadband, and you have that full connectivity around you. But all of this at each point would always and has always generated millions and millions of data every day. And at currently, like, we generate so much data in a day, and it needs creates more opportunities. And that's when, from the 2010s, opportunities in terms of AI and data analytics started evolving. Organizations started seeing how they could use data to drive value, how they could use data to think about making their product smarter, how they could use data to 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 fit to the needs of their customers. And it moved. Now we're in the era where AI has, it has moved from where it was, from being very theoretical. We're having today, in today's world, we have virtual reality, we have self-flying drones, we have all of this. We have now we have autonomous cars, like we mentioned before. We have AIs on our phone. Even the if you use a smartphone, you could actually even interact with AIs there. All of this creates opportunities over the years. And from this presentation, is it's more about us to look inwards as professionals, that AI and quantum computing is always going to be another era. The combination of both, it's another era of opportunities that's going to come. It might have a bit, or there could be concerns from people about transitioning and, picking up skills and what they need to do. But the truth of the matter is, the history has shown that every era of IT has come with newer technologies, better ways of delivering value, better ways of computing, better ways of delivering technology to the hands of users. But over time, roles, responsibilities have had to change. People have had to adapt. People have had to see new opportunities to developing. And that brings me to my next slide, where we talk about the outlook of the combination of AI and quantum computing. Companies like IBM, Google, Microsoft are making quantum computing more accessible through cloud platforms. For example, IBM Quantum Experience, and it's going to revolutionize, cryptography in terms of cybersecurity, how companies use it for optimization of their logistics. It's going to have faster processing speeds for these organizations that have to use large set of data every day. And in terms of the pharmaceutical as well, and also opportunities for us IT professionals, it's a lot of opportunities. And it could also accelerate the way we think and want to process AI models. AI models could be used in a much more fascinating way, faster production, faster faster products to the market. And it's only going to, for me, it's always going to create that opportunity for IT professionals to start thinking about upskilling, always thinking about how to best, make use of this opportunity. Like we've seen in the different eras where we started from punching cards, this is where we are now. In the next couple of years, faster processing speeds could be available to you anywhere in the world, and you could solve complex problems. You could help businesses or organizations achieve value quicker. Um, these two, AI and quantum computing, are have been said by a couple of reports that by 2030 is going to generate 15.7 trillion to the global economy. Because they look at the potential, the quantum computing will solve problems in seconds that would take normal computers a long time to process. It would, if you think about what AI brings to the global economy as well, it will also create value there and create opportunities for us as IT professionals. If you look through the World Economic Reports 2025, AI and related technologies like quantum computing have been projected to have a net increase of 78 million jobs. And one of the things the report failed to mention that over 90, one of the things interesting in the report is that over 90 something million of those of jobs as well would have to have some sort of transition. So there's going to be slight changes to job roles, to job expectations because of the introduction of this technology. And overall, something that has, or technology that has this impact of a net of 78 million jobs is a positive outlook. It's 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 more about us as IT professionals to start thinking about how we want to take advantage of this. How do we best prepare ourselves to be able to start tapping into the value that this brings? How can your organization or how can your institution use quantum computing? How can you drive value from that? How can your business take advantage of AI? And these are things that we need to consider and start having conversation about. The impact is going to have on IT careers. For example, AI. We have new job roles now, AI engineers, things that job roles that were in the picture 10 years ago, but we have those roles now, and they are currently in high demand. AI engineer, data scientists, machine learning specialists, AI ethicists as well. And these are roles that are coming up as humans as we use these technologies day to day. We think about ways to make it better. AI ethics is a hot topic right now because countries and governance bodies are thinking about how best to regulate the use and the application of this tool. And now you have a situation where people are getting opportunities, well experienced people in IT careers are getting opportunities to consult to most of these organizations that want to bring about regulation and bring some sort of ethics and governance control into how AI is being used. That's also an opportunity for someone in an IT career. And when you think about it from your day-to-day job as a professional, it helps you to even think about automating your repetitive tasks. For example, in my current job role, there I use Copilot a lot. There are things that I would want to spend 5 to 10 minutes to think about how I will do it. But having that interaction with the tool gives me 4 to 5 suggestions. And in 20 minutes, I've started, breaking down what I need to break up, or started, making progress on what would have taken me a longer time before. And then it helps us as well when you look at how organizations are using this tool. From my own experience, customer activity, customer interaction has now moved to a different level because of the amount of shared data that organizations are processing every day. The outcome of that gives organizations the ability to decide quickly what they feel like the customers need, what customers are thinking about, and even before customers concludes, they've given them those options already, and they develop value faster for the customer. And now when you think about that, what it shows you is the commercial market is now using AI to make decisions about what products, when the products, and how the products will be delivered to the customer. because of the sheer value of AI technologies, the faster computing speed that are available to this organization. And as well, because you have to interact with AI, you have to build some sort of skill set and competency to be able to use this. It's also an opportunity for you to develop your learning. And as a professional, for you to be able to grow that skill set that is needed to interact with the technology. The opportunities for quantum computing, it's going to be even much more exponential because you have career professionals that have been software developers that are now highly demanded to come work on quantum projects, quantum computing projects. There are rules for quantum software developers, quantum algorithm specialists, hardware engineers as well, and even maintenance, because this technology requires a lot of maintenance, even in cybersecurity as well. There are rules springing up every day, and companies are thinking and looking at how best to take advantage of these technologies. So the onus is on us at the end of the day, as IT professionals, IT as IT enthusiasts, people that educate people to start speaking up about these opportunities so people can start upskilling, people can start taking advantage and start using these opportunities. Quantum computing, like I said, is going to transform cryptography, and that is going to have a massive effect on how organizations try to use cybersecurity to keep themselves secure. Because think about it, that the faster you can protect yourself from intrusion, the safer your organization feels, and that's a benefit. If you go, there's no company in the world that you go to and say this technology exists. I'm a consultant. This technology exists. This is what it offers you, and this is the benefit that you will get. That creates an opportunity right there, not just for you as a professional, but also for the organization. And it's always going to be there as well for us as organizations as individuals to share with our peers, discuss this in open forums like this, share opportunities as well. And it will also help us start thinking about what's going to be next. Once this is in full flow, once I have this skill set, what's going to be next? And that's how technology has always evolved, era by era. So that's talking about the opportunities that are there, and the combination of both technologies is going to be massive. And talking about preparing for the future for professionals, we have to start thinking about building these competencies for ourselves. In terms of technical skills, what AI tool can you use? What AI can you use? Okay, are you a software developer? Can you build a model? How can you create how can you create a GPT that can drive this value? Organizations are thinking about making use of this GPT at an enterprise level where it's only going to be used and trained within the organization and not share any data to an external source. How do you have this skill set? How is machine learning being used? Yes, you're in education, but why can't you build this skill set and build this knowledge? All of these things are things that we could, we start building quantum computing basics, cloud computing, cybersecurity. These are skill sets that it's now going to, come into our day-to-day jobs. And for you to remain competitive, for you to remain attractive, for you to remain hunted, you need to start adapting. You need to, build that, have that soft skill of, adaptability for you to adapt most of these technologies into your day to day. Understand the need to use this for problem solving, how to use this for collaboration, and how that can also transcend to helping the younger generation understand this. Because at each stage of your career or my career, I've always met people that, study technologies or use technologies at a certain stage, and then they pass on a particular knowledge. That's how, I was able to communicate about punching cards, because that's how you then see the relevance of of the technology you're interacting with today, or the use of it, or the value it's providing, because you would have to think about the fact that it didn't exist before, but this is why it's existing now. And then it helps you as a professional to think about possibilities for the future. And just to encourage us professionals, there are a lot of online resources for you to use to attend industry conferences like this that are organized by groups, also to network, join professional communities like the DCS, have loads of other professional communities that you can join, and it helps you to collaborate with people, to speak to experts from a different perspective. For example, now I'm coming to you from a business and a product perspective today, giving you my own perspective and as a positive outlook of this technology. You could attend a different event tomorrow and you get a different perspective. So this is why it is key for us as IT professionals to keep on top of these things, keep on top of these technologies and develop that habit and culture of continuous development. Yeah, so in all, IT and AI and quantum computing are creating a lot of opportunities for IT professionals. And it's not just about um, job roles, it's about opportunities to give value. It's about opportunities, for example, in the pharmaceutical industry. It's going to be groundbreaking. And that's going to create a whole lot of jobs for not just people in IT, but people that are outside of IT. But then they have to use IT tools. It creates a whole lot of opportunities for training. People, professionals that are into career training, early career professionals training, and things like that. Those are opportunities. So these are tools and things that we need to start, taking advantage of. And another thing is, to embrace lifelong learning. Um, it's something that I've had to build into my life. Stay curious, position yourself at the forefront of these transformative technologies because once these transitions happen, you need to be there. You need to be there when these groundbreaking technologies are having effects in your organization, in your place of work. And you need to also consider sharing your knowledge with others. If you have the opportunity, if you are interested, you can mentor others and also build inclusive pathways for career professionals like yourself, saying like if you are involved in the transition or the transformation of an organization, you need to consider the different parts or the different roles that are going to intertwine and then, come up with, better, clearer picture of pathways for career professionals. So um, I've come right to the end of my presentation now, and yeah, if we can entertain any questions or topic to discuss.
Oh, oh, thank you very much, Herbert, for your time. This is 7:13. Thank you for the presentation and showing everybody um, talk from experience of your knowledge in AI and quantum computing. Um, so, looking at the charts, yes, somebody said with this session be recorded. Yes, is recorded. Um, so there's a question from Mira. Um, is a question. Hello, I'm a mature student. Thank you for hosting this event. I was interested in learning about IT scenes and direction for women. We have a long gap working industry who would like to pivot non-IT field and do it masters in order to join the IT scene. Thanks. Okay, so um, I know. Is this something you want to respond to,
Yeah,
Herbert?
yeah,
Okay, okay,
yes,
go ahead, please.
yeah. So I think there's a couple of things to unpack there. Organizations right now have specific transition back to work programs to help individuals, to help women that have been out of work for a while. And sometimes these opportunities include, training you up to speed in terms of the technologies that's being used today. I've seen a couple of people in my current organization that transition back to work. Some of them were testers before, for example, and coming back, they realized they want to, become a developer, and they were given the opportunity to do that. So I think the first thing is start looking out for those return back to work opportunities. Um, for the kind of organizations you want to work for and make sure that's the right fit. And also try to get one or two I would say mentors, which is always good. One or two persons that you speak to that are currently working in the field or the area that you want to work in. Know what you want to do because the IT scene is really broad. If you want to be a developer or you were a developer before and you're coming back and the time you were a developer, it was Java that you were using to write. That's really good experience, really great experience. But coming back to organizations now, they might want to be working in TypeScript. But what that does for you is if you have someone you speak to that's currently working in TypeScript, or you have someone you meet through any of these BCS events, that could give you that direction and give you that sort of guidance. You then re-upskill when you go for those interviews about those. I'm just giving a generic example anyway. When you go for that role, you have a little bit of guidance on how to take advantage of it.
Okay, Hilbert, thank you. Can you see the chat, or you want me to call the questions
Yeah,
for you? Do you want to read
I'm
your?
scrolling.
Okay.
I'm scrolling down now. So yeah, I'm just reading through. Should I read out the question for the entire audience or?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the question is, Google and Meta have spent billions developing AI and have not had a meaningful return on their investment. Yet they currently provide many AI tools free or almost free, so they can capture market share now. However, at some point they are going to need a return on their investment, and these free tools will no longer be free. Will it still be as widespread and influential when it's going to be an added cost? With a strong business case, that event might be worthwhile, but we cannot expect it to be all upside. At the very least, it could slow the adoption that has already been discussed tonight. Um, there's a couple of things to unpack there as well. I think it's more of a comment than a question. Um, the business cases that the organizations have, um, no one can know what they want to do tomorrow. But from my own perspective, we just see how it unfolds because that's a lot to unpack for me. Um, yeah. So the next question is from Adrian. Content computing has already been demonstrated by a few big companies. When will it become mainstream? I think it's about the use of it. So currently it's being used for really large complex problems, and the value. Yeah. Sorry, you K dropped the message, so I didn't see the question again. I was looking at. Okay, yes. Yeah, so I think when it becomes mainstream, it's when, for example, what IBM is trying to do, making quantum computing accessible via the cloud. I think those are one of the ways that we could start seeing it becoming more mainstream, where if you're a researcher and you want to use, you want to try to use a quantum computer, you could, use it virtually and try to get get value from it. So it's going to be more mainstream based on my own understanding because it's not a cheap uh, a cheap technology to run. It could be more available virtually over the coming years. Okay. What's the next question? Okay, yes. So Mira, yeah, Mira has responded. Yeah, that's it, exactly. Thank you. Um,
There's a question on quantum computing.
I think that's the one I just responded to. Is that the one from Adrian?
Yeah.
Yeah, you responded to
Yeah,
that. Thank you very much.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, since I'm on, I might just well throw in. I mean, my personal view is that the recent explosion in AI it's not really driven by AI advances, but it's driven more by the vast data sets and computing power that have been thrown at known AI technologies. So it seems to me that if we have a, pardon the pun, a quantum leap in computing capabilities, then we might see an equally dramatic explosion in our in what AI can achieve.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point. At some point, it's because competitions in organizations need to stay competitive. It's a brutal market out there. You don't want to be left behind. So it's a valid point you made, and we see how that unfolds. Technology is always a very hot topic to these big companies, and everyone wants to stay on point. I think for me, it's about thinking about what value it brings to you on my day-to-day life, on my career. So if a technology comes up tomorrow that's plays to me, that's relevant to me, then why not? I go and upskill in it. But it's just being careful, not finding yourself chasing up 400 types of model of GPTs every day. You understand what I mean?
Sure, thank you.
Yeah.
So so currently there's no other question. I would say the floor is open
For
uh,
discussion.
for discussion, for interaction, for collaboration, anything. Any discussion, it might not be from Harvard. It could be maybe somebody here is having some discussion that have been burning in our mind, and I want to throw it out for others to kind of respond to that. So Georgiana said, what can we do to keep up with the AI? What do you suggest for us to do? That's another question, Herbert.
Yeah, so I think it's first of all being in touch, like as a professional, as an IT professional. It's something that we've seen over the years. So how do we keep up with it? How do you suggest for us to do it? And there's a follow-up question, apart from maybe because, but on a daily basis. um I think events like this would always help you to find out more about newer technologies or new AIs that are coming forward. It's good to, when you attend events through BCS. There's always events going on. Maybe if you have an interest in, AI technologies, that's an event you could, learn something new that you don't know. That's also an event you could hear about technology you don't know. As well, always keep on top of, like, the news. For someone like me, I follow the technology news a lot. A couple of weeks back, we saw what DeepSeek did. So it's more about just staying in touch with with your community of practice, which you can get through BCS, and also with your people around you as well, and following what your interests are in terms of technology on the news. And then that way you can always stay in touch. If you then see a tool or technology you're interested in, you can expand that further. If you're really interested in upskilling, then you can find an appropriate course that you can attend, and add that skill to your portfolio.
Herbert, can I make a recommendation as well? There's some really good daily AI podcasts that some of them are actually generated by AI themselves, just as a way of keeping up. I think those they tend to be 10, 15-minute bite size, because this system is moving so fast.
Yeah.
That's how I personally I keep up to date with what's sort of kind of going on, and all those too long don't read email things that you get back there. Those are quite good as a way of just picking out the bite-sized stuff of what you can find.
So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mark. I think there's another question from Mariam. For a business analyst, what would AI do for me, or would it be a threat or essential for development? So, from talking from experience, I currently think about it as very essential for development and less of a threat. Why I say that is your role as a business analyst is always to help an organization achieve their objectives and make sure that at the end of the day they are getting realization of the benefits of making a change or transforming to a new technology or investing in a certain kind of product. So it's always going to be hard for an AI to essentially do that part because your role as a business analyst is basically a bridge between the business side of things, that is what the business goals are and how technology can help them do that. I don't see an AI being able to do that. Rather, an AI tool can help you do that faster. If, for example, you want to run a gap analysis or you want to do an impact assessment, a Copilot can give you 4 or 5 steps recommendation in a couple of seconds that you can then adapt into your way of working, which then helps you to do your job faster. And then for me, it's now about how can I use that best going from there. So I see it more of an added advantage than a threat. Any other thoughts?
Okay, I think there's still 1 or 2 questions in the chats. One for myself, but before mine, about 1 or 2.
Okay, I think Samira, who fast checked or quality checked the AI generated podcast. Jack, Mark, do you have any idea?
So which one? What about the question
Yeah.
you asked, or?
No, there's a question about who fact checks the AI podcast.
Well, I think it's like who fact checks anything that you see on the internet, right? You take I don't know, trust but verify. You take multiple sources. You have to it is somebody clearly is behind it, this generation of it. So you would hope that they were reviewing them. That's probably speeding up the process of generating, but you would hope that there was somebody still doing the copy editing. I mean, it comes to anything. Like the way I've always thought about, these AI generated stuff is that it's a partnership, right? You're getting it to do stuff, but you still need to verify it and double check it and get it to you wouldn't trust a paper that wasn't peer reviewed. So therefore, why would you trust AI? You also, when you're in a workplace, as engineers, we bounce ideas off of each other and we challenge and things like that. And I think it's really how we work with AI. We have to get in that mindset of challenging the AI itself and ask it the questions and get it to challenge our own prejudices and ideas and things like that. And I think it's just really a mindset that we have to change with AI. AI is a tool. It's like anything else, and we're right at the beginning of really learning how we can use this stuff and how it can really help us because it's all about productivity, right? That's why this thing's created. And I go back to it was a really interesting point. I think it was that Alex made about it's free now, but at some point they're going to put it behind a paywall. And I put down a response as, I'm not so sure that it's going. I think John's right, or you could pay with your data. But ultimately, I think if we think of a massive technology that was hugely expensive to create, which is like GPS and Galileo and all of these PNT, so these precision network time point. There's still a free access layer to that. There's still a point of entry that's free, and I honestly think that's going to be that kind of model. That as you need more, you will pay, and and as you build up, you pay. But I think there'll always be a sort of level that's free, because if people build businesses on that free level, those businesses will pay tax, and that's how that revenue in there. So ultimately, I think there's going to be a flow. Well, actually, that's what I think. I don't know what everybody else on the call feels, or if they actually feel like that one day OpenAI is just going to go no and just put a paywall up. I don't know.
I have a few things to say on this. Just lower my hand. I belong to a learning circle, AI learning circle at University of Warwick, and we've just been looking at AI generally, and especially in education. And we noticed that particularly most of the forefront companies, particularly OpenAI, is running at a loss, offering ChatGPT free. The cost of every search and every response is way more than they're making from the entire system. But they're also accumulating a lot of data. So I believe I expect them to still be free for a very long time, or there may be offerings that are free at the moment. At the moment, you have a version that is free and you have a more advanced version that is paid. So I expect that's exactly the model they will continue with. And they may continue with that for a very long time, because the amount of data they are accumulating, a lot of people are uploading a lot of things. And for the free version, it trains itself with the data they store the data that is uploaded, and it is used in subsequent training. So with that kind of information going up to their servers, obviously they may still have it free for a very long time. And even if they shut down the free version, nowadays there are so many other versions of various chats, GPTs that are available, and those ones will also offer their free versions in the long run. So I expect that it's supposed to be free for a long time. But as you rightly said, there'll be some that will be offline, that you need to pay for to get some advanced functionality. About quantum computing, I have a question that has been kind of hitting me back and forth a couple of times in the office and also in general IT pursuits. What is the possibility that quantum computing will filter down and become more readily accessible for people, everyday people? ChatGPT, for instance, with all the development not just ChatGPT. Generally, AI has become more readily available. In short, you have a device and the device has some level of AI running on it. What's the possibility that quantum computing will be compressed into maybe a personal computer in the near future?
Okay, so that's a question for Herbert, right?
Yes, it is. Any other person is free to take it.
Yeah, I think I answered something similar to this earlier. I think organizations are starting to think about offering some cloud access to their computing power, and IBM is one of those currently that you can probably do a research on how you can access that. But about the possibility of it coming down to probably regular access or buying a personal laptop with computing power, I guess that's an opportunity for these organizations to see how technology can advance for that to be to get to that point, and probably that would be a product for the future.
Okay, thank you. So in the chat, there are two people raising up hands, Alex and David. Maybe let me go first. David, is it you want to respond, or you have a question, or you just want to contribute? Let's hear from David, then Alex.
Hi, yeah, thank you very much for the talks this evening. It wasn't necessarily a question, more following on the conversation from Mark and Chidi about paid access or free access. And I think that there are a number of examples of free services that all of us have used in the past and still today. For instance, I use Google search in much of my job and life and personal life, as most of us do, I'm sure, every day. And I don't think I've ever paid for a Google search, but I am aware that there is no such thing as a free lunch. I also benefit from free banking. So to take an example elsewhere, I don't pay for my current account, but I understand that the bank has a benefit in me using their banking service. So I think that these AI companies are no different to any other provider of a service in terms of their free offering. I think their free offering will help them to develop their product. It will help them to build momentum in the market, and it will help them get data in terms of how people use the product. So I think that, this is a very common practice. And I think in terms of the keeping up to date that was mentioned earlier, whilst there are, plenty of really, really, really good examples. I mean, Mark said about the podcast, and that seems like a really good idea. I think that probably one of the key things that anybody can do is to actually make a start, actually do something. I think if you wait until the AI train slows down for you to get on, you're going to be waiting a long time, and a lot of people will already have done something. So you can only ever use what you have today, and doing something is better than nothing. It's going to be out of date as soon as you've done it. You have to kind of take that as a given, but it's better to have a go.
Thank you, David. Thank you for that contribution. Alex, you want to go?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for this very interesting talk this evening. I just wanted to respond to some excellent points made by Mark about the adoption of the AI tools and how they're currently free to most of us. I just wanted to note that Microsoft Copilot, which is one of the free tools available to us all, there's now a version called Copilot Pro, which is £19 per user per month, depending on your organization. And it struck me that that is more expensive than some of the the actual full Microsoft Office M365 packages that are available. So we may start to see this shift to paid services, increasingly now that Microsoft are offering that as well. On David's excellent points about the development of these services and how they are free or can be free, I think I agree 100% with what he said, but they're free to some people. They're not free to everyone. Obviously, advertisers have been paying Google for a very long time. And someone else commented very astutely that the data that is collected through these searches and Google, I think, are well known for this. That data is monetized and sold on to advertisers and so on. So while it may appear to be free to some of us, and is free to some of us at the moment, whether it's free for all time is another question, and whether it's free to everybody and what the costs will actually prove to be remains to be seen. Artificial intelligence is often advertised as having a very beneficial and a very useful and altruistic sort of aspect to it. We've frequently seen advertising around how AI is helping surgeons to analyze test results to find, diseases and things that they might have missed. We're seeing other uses of it in the pharmaceutical industry to help do research into medicines. And these are all, I'm sure, true and positive things. But there will also, I guess, be negatives associated with this data, and I can only in this use of data. And I can only imagine that if the power of computers increases exponentially because of quantum computing, that might become very, very challenging very quickly. And our ability as human beings to keep, and IT professionals, to keep up with that and the ethics of that is something that I am quite interested in seeing how it develops. But thank you very much to Mark and David and everyone for their comments. It's been really, really informative and really useful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alex, for that contribution. Yeah, so how about while you checking the chat to know if there's any other thing you want to respond to? I know there's been one or two responses, questions. So is there anything you want to respond to there?
Yeah, I think your question about the biggest ethical challenges for AI development. There are a couple of those, and this could apply to different scenarios. So one of the very open one is about bias. So bias is something that has to, without, we need more transparency about how our data is being, used to give feedback to us. So in terms of how the data is handled and all of that and how it's also processed, we need to, that's why we have AI ethicists now coming up to talk about how, we can make sure we work around these issues. There's an issue of transparency as well, which is something we're kind of discussing. Where is this data we're, interacting with this AI going to? Organizations are scared of using AI in their, in their business day to day because they are scared of, their business models or their practices, being used to train a model somewhere in the world. So these are issues that AI has. Then there's in terms of jobs as well. There's also a fear of job displacement, which is a fair point because when you talk about always automating or making things work faster, people that are are doing those jobs would need to reskill themselves, upskill to go to a different job. So that's one of the goals of this presentation for us as IT professionals to start taking those steps, to start thinking about how you want to upskill, how you want to remain relevant, because the speed of the train is really fast, and these are just issues that we know, as everything that comes would have its pros and its cons. These are issues that are currently being discussed. And another thing about this AI regulation as well, there has been a very unbalanced view on how AI is going to be regulated across various countries and what the agreement is going to be. There's still deliberations on regulations of AI. And these are also opportunities for IT professionals to speak up. So if you feel strongly about a particular AI model or a particular way it's been used or it's been implemented, you can speak of. There are opportunities for you to take that further. Look for an AI body close to you. Look for organizations that you can write to about these things because they are seeking opinion to know how best to regulate it. So I think that's my thoughts to the ethical challenge.
Oh, thank you very much. Is there any other question you want to respond to?
I'm seeing a lot of comments. I'm just trying to follow.
Okay, there's another one. How close are we to achieving practical? I know maybe part of the question. Practical large-scale quantum computing.
I think the top tech companies already are being very careful with how they're sharing their information because it's a race. Every one of these companies, Microsoft, IBM, we all know they are trying to they're working on quantum computing. They only share their large breakthroughs, but we are hoping that in the next, with the scale of development and the scale of improvement that we've seen over the years, we are hoping that in the next couple of years it could become widespread. So let's see how that plays out. What do you think, eh?
Yeah, I think you're right. many of them might not want to open up fully so that we know so many details of what they are doing behind the scene. So,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. There's another, somebody is raising his hand, Patrick. Can we just give Patrick a chance to talk, please? Patrick, please.
Yeah,
Over.
good evening. So I have a contribution and question, also the contribution. So it was someone spoke earlier and asked a question about quantum computing and how possible can we start having access to PCs running models and all that. I think this is the reason why there is a lot of focus on hardware, because I think what is limiting um, the advancement, further advancement of AI is the hardware, and you see companies like Nvidia, TCMS, and TSMC are having a lot of spotlight because now there's a lot of spotlight on hardware advancement because the hardware to run these models. Someone said earlier that OpenAI is even running at loss, and that's because actually OpenAI was supposed to be a well, I say charity, not for profit, but eventually they changed focus. But again, the amount of hardware computation needed to run these models are very heavy, and that's why there's a lot of in fact, I would say people into research, hardware research, would have a lot of, well, I say kind of grant or or so, because what AI needs now is very powerful computation hardware. That's why you see this quantum computing is gaining a lot of talk lately. So I believe with the focus and investment in hardware, we might get to that point where even currently you could run lighter versions of these models on your PC using the Llama and all that. And again, some cloud provider also make it possible for you to run model on their cloud. This means that you can run model that doesn't have access to the internet in case you want to, build an application that doesn't have access to the internet and still have the capability of these models. So that's that. Then I have a question. I noticed I think for some time now, most time when you do a search in the search engines, we hardly even get to open pages because these search engines have a way of ideally search engines return to you an index of pages that have what you're searching for. But now they do the job of going to these pages and aggregating the information for you. So sometimes you may not even get to go to these pages and you see what you're searching for on the search engine. So my question is, I believe this will impact a lot on people that uses SEO or trying their pages to be shown. Won't it reduce the amount of footprints to these pages? I don't have a page, but I'm just imagining what this new reality will be for people that are running a form of web application that needs visitors and all that. That's one. Then secondly, how with enterprises adopting AI at enterprise scale. In my company, we use Copilot, and also there is one that Google introduced. They call it Notebook LM. So it's a form of a platform where you upload the document and you can ask query on that document, ask questions, and it just return. You don't need to go through the document; it just returns you the information relevant to it. So we are seeing this AI at enterprise level, meaning that, for instance, in developers, you tend to do stuff quicker. So what is the impact on the job market? Is it going? Is it current? Are we going to say that this will make the already saturated job market to be worse, or will it get better, or are employers now focusing on ability to have the skills to work with AI? What does it tell about those that are still in the job market? What is the impact of this? So that's that from me.
Okay, so
Okay.
maybe let me just answer the first part, then you answer the
Okay.
second
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that first part was talking about the search engines and visibility and all that. So what I would say is you can look at it from another point of view. So many people might even prefer that they don't want to be visiting hundreds of pages to check for things. So they might prefer that they might just see a summary of what you are looking for, just in a nutshell at the top of the screen there. So it's kind of, you can look at it from two different angles. So personally, myself, I would prefer just rather than going to so many places, I can prefer to see the summary just at the top. So now, and I know many people will prefer that, but at the same time, some people might want some visibility. Some people might want people to visit their website and things like that. So that might deprive such things from happening. So we can look at it from two different angles. So that just want to say on that.
I think to add to what you said, I think Google as well is also trying to milk that opportunity for themselves because I think it's the number one search engine, and it's now gradually that's more like an aggregation tool, or I could even call it a GPT as well, that kind of summarizes and shows you those options first. So Google as well, they're also trying to make it break in the market too. So that's an opportunity for them that they have seen, and they're trying to bring value to the cost to the users faster. I think I've encountered that, and most times you see just a small link by at the footer of the summary, and then it takes you to what the Google bot has ranked as most relevant to your search, which is quite heartbreaking for people in that business. So these are everything will always have pro and a con. For I'm trying to remember the second part that you spoke about I think what's his name, Patrick. Yeah.
The how enterprise adaptation is affecting the job how is it going to affect?
Yeah, how that affects the job market. Yes. I think that still boils down to reasons why we're having these calls and these conversations, because currently it's having little impact in the job market in terms of being written down as a skill set to be met. But organizations are expecting people to start using and interacting with these tools. Like you mentioned in your organization, you use Copilot, and there's also another tool. Those tools there now are being regarded, from my own point of view, as tools for productivity. But then I feel like if you're an IT professional, your on the ground understanding about technology, first of all, should get you through the door of the current job market if you have the right skill set. What we then need to talk about is, in the future, how will that play out? Is it now going to start becoming more relevant and being used as a criteria? And if that is the case, we now need to start speaking up. I need to start talking to all of you here. You need to start talking to the next person. Don't be left behind, because this AI trend is really fast. You need to start upskilling, start using these things. I was involved in a conversation with a couple of developers, and one of them mentioned that um, he tried to engage with Copilot, but the code Copilot was bringing back didn't make any sense to the code he was trying to solve. But then he still needed to rely on his existing skill set to write the code properly. But he took a cue, one or two, from what the code Copilot generated. So it's, for me right now, it's still a tool, but then we also need to start speaking to each and every person. Share with your network, share with your colleagues, that we need to start upskilling and identifying this as something that might stay longer, something that's going to be prevalent in the future job market. Does that answer any of your thoughts, Patrick?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So right now I've got three people, David, Shidi, and Udoka. So let's just start with David. They raise up their hands, so can we just invite them to share their ideas or ask their questions or discussion? David, over to you, please.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Kate. So it's just in response to one of the points that that Patrick just made, which I think was very important, and Kay, you gave your answer to that as well, about how search engines are using information on websites and providing that, and now going another stage further and giving their AI summary at the very top. So I think that this topic kind of it doesn't necessarily cover, it crosses over some of the things we spoke about earlier about whether or not things that you share are free and whether or not services you share are free. So if you have a website and you want people to find your website, you might very happily make your website available to search engines for them to crawl your website, for them to catalog your website, and for you then hopefully to appear in search results. But again, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So the search companies want to catalog your website because they want people who are doing searches, such as me, to go and use Google. Now, as Patrick said, what we are now seeing is that the search engines are going one step further and they are taking the information that's on other companies' websites and providing that as a summary at the very top of the page. So in an AI summary, and I think just to summarize what Kay said, some people might find that really useful. You now don't have to go onto the web page. The problem is, of course, is that there has been a whole industry around search engine optimization. There's been a whole industry of people wanting to get you onto page one of the results because users will click on your website and you might have advertising, for instance, which you then make a small amount of money off of, etc. And I think that in general, this means that if you are a website that only provides information, your ability to get people to your site is now much, much, much less. If you sell a product, you will still get the clicks through because you're going to have somebody who wants to put something in their basket and buy. But if you're just selling information, then Google is going to synthesize that and going to make it available to users at the top. I was on a webinar last week with Google, and I'm just going to share a link in the chat where Google talked about a few of these things, including their AI summaries. And really, they see this as their future because what they want to do is make it easier for users to search. The downside is people who own websites are going to get fewer visitors to their website.
Thank you, David. You're on mute, Kay, if you're trying to speak.
Oh, sorry. Thank you very much, David, for that excellent contribution. So while we look at the details in the chat, can we invite Shidi, please? Shidi Okoro.
Okay, hello. Yeah, I had a couple of things put together. I think David just took out some of them. I think the on Google search, the response we get at the top is powered by AI, Gemini that powers that. And I have noticed that most of the times it gives you responses based on frequent search around your location, just customized to your location. Most of the time, if you're trying to search something that's outside your location, outside something you frequently search for, there's a tendency to not to receive the best response from the AI, get the best option from the AI, from the AI summary. About use of AI in industry, I remember Herbert mentioned something about that. And I was talking with a colleague of mine at University, and also a colleague at University of Warwick. There is this idea behind the lecturers, that's the teaching staff now, using AI to
Hello,
giving
Shidi.
students.
I
Yes,
think
go
your
ahead.
mic, maybe you might need to be closer to the mic. Oh,
Okay, is it better now?
yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the students, I don't know where you head up to now. I don't know if I should backtrack a little. I was talking with some colleagues of mine in University of Warwick and some in Coventry University, and most of them had this idea that when they are preparing questions for the students, they try to provide some test cases where the students are required to use AI and also give a feedback and kind of do a personal review of what the experience was with the AI and why the AI failed the question or possibly gave a wrong answer in some scenarios. I think that use case is very useful for the students to also develop their skills as they prepare to go into the job market. But I was talking with a friend of mine that was working in JLR for a while, and he said that I stand to be corrected. I don't know how because he has left JLR now at the moment. So, but he said at the time when he was there were most of these AI platforms are blocked on their internal systems. So the use of AI in the workplace is limited by some companies because some companies also fear that their information, their patented information might be shared on those platforms and don't know what it will be used to train. I also, apart from just working as a data and systems analyst, I design websites and I also write software in Python. And some of the times when I'm working on a project and I I've compared AI, I've compared ChatGPT and Copilot. If I use Copilot to request for maybe an additional code, the most recent one was a VBA for an Excel file that I wanted to automate. I wanted it to pull data from a particular place and populate on another field and do it automatically based on some other field that was also written in VBA. When I finished writing the code, I noticed that there was something, it was slowing down the Excel. So I wanted it to become faster. So I was using ChatGPT and Copilot. Somehow I noticed that Copilot had some idea of the code that was a little different from what ChatGPT was giving me, but ChatGPT's code was more efficient in the end. So these are things that I have noticed now from personal use, and I feel in a workplace, in my office, for instance, you don't use ChatGPT, you use more of Copilot. In short, you're instructed to use Copilot because of it's licensed and they are sure that the data doesn't go out to train. But these are things that we need to consider as we intend to use ChatGPT and all the other platforms, because the data going out one and also the kind of responses, if they're actually efficient to the use case that it's being considered. But just my thoughts, I'll just point out a lot of things.
Oh, thank you very much. So finally, let's hear from Udoka.
Hi, good evening. I'll make this quick. I'm just responding to something that Herbert raised some I think in his last discussion. These AI tools are good, right? But one thing that we still need to have in mind is understanding whatever skills we require. Whether you're a business analyst, whether you're a developer, you need to understand the fundamental of those skills. These are tools. AI is just a tool, right? Just the same way Oracle came, there's a time Oracle was very rampant. Everyone needed you to have Oracle, to know Oracle. Tools come and go. Microsoft Power BI, Tableau. Those are tools. If you don't understand the fundamentals, you go to an interview and say, "Oh, I'm great with this tool." Okay, talk us through the tool. You are confused. Everything goes wrong. So for whatever skill we need, like you said, when we're going back to office, you've been out of work. If you're moving from being a tester to a developer, you need to go learn the basic skills, understand how it works, because sometimes you throw in some things into AI, like Chidi said, into the AI, it brings out some answers. And if you don't understand the basics of it, you will just carry everything hook, line, and sinker and go use, not knowing that you need to keep on refining the question so that you get the kind of answers you're looking for. So let's not just take everything that we see or get jittery because of the AI. AI is there to support. It's there to help. That you don't understand it fully doesn't make you like a laggard. It just means that it's a tool. You just need to get understanding of where you're coming from, the kind of skills you require for the kind of job you're going to do, whether you're a teacher, and you'll be okay. Yep.
Oh, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for that contribution. Again, I think that's spot on, and that kind of summarizes most of the things. We need to balance a couple of things rather than relying 100% on AI, especially for programmers as well, so that our programming skills will not decline. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you, Herbert, for tonight. Thank you, everybody that have made one comment or the other. I know we already reduced in the chat. A lot of people have left. That's fine. I think Mira wants to say something. Mira, sorry, I'm just seeing the hand now. Can we just give Mira a quick chance to say something? Okay, Mira, is it that you want to say something or you just clapping?
Yeah, she was clapped. I think it's a
Okay,
clap. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay, so I think that should be about all for tonight. I don't know if John might want to say anything before we wrap it up. So once again, I've put in the chat, we thank everybody for coming tonight. Really appreciate
so much.
all your contributions. And we hope to see you also in our next meeting. John, anything to say before you go?
Just like to thank Herbert for giving us a very interesting talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. You're welcome, John.
Well,
Thank you so much,
everybody else.
guys.